Hello, everybody, and welcome in to episode 1 of Undercity. It appears that we've lost our transporter already. It's impressive. He was just there. It's magic almost. Hi, I'm Bub. You guys all know this already. Today is the mark and beginning of a new story, as told by Mr. Hale himself. We will be Patreon performing a game known as Undercity. And if you have been watching our titles whatsoever today, it should be fairly interesting, if I can say so myself, because identity is an illusion, as is freedom. You'll have to learn the rule set alongside us. We're just trying to figure it out, because we don't really know enough. But I think it's safe to say that I'm going to pass it off to Hale, and he'll give us a shake and shimmy. Hale, are you good? You ready?
Sure am.
All right. Run us through it.
Okay. We start in darkness. You're asleep and dreaming. A deep, deep sleep. Dreamless to start with, but as time progresses, light starts to pick up. A beautiful golden sunlight, cascading down almost as if it's water pouring over you. You find yourselves in a field of wild flowers. You're traversing through the flowers. Apart as you walk through them. This should be a pleasant experience, but you have a feeling that something is behind you. Something is chasing you. And your motion is panicked. A moment later, the scene transitions. One moment you're in the field, the next, a corridor. Concrete walls, pipes overhead, dripping of water. The thing behind you is still behind you and still chasing you. You progress. A door in front of you gets closer and closer until you slam into it and it disappears. Beyond a dark, cavernous space. Shadows picked out amongst stones, stalactites and stalagmites. You're running now. Your breath. You're panting with the exertion. There is a flash, a jerk, the sound of what seems like a distant rumble of thunder. And suddenly you're awake. But the scene before you isn't what you expected to see. You're not in your bed where you went to sleep. You've woken in a room. The room is devoid of furniture. The walls are piecemeal. Some brick, some metal plates, some wood. A single metal door stands in one corner of the room, one side of the room. You're standing here with 3 of your companions. You recognize them instantly, and you recognize their roles, but you don't know what their names are. In fact, come to think of it, you don't know what your name is. You can remember flashes of important people in your life. You can remember vaguely their names, their first names. You can remember important things that you have done, but out of context, they don't make a lot of sense. You know they're important, but you don't understand why. You look down at yourself. You realize that your body is not the body you went to sleep in. Also looking down, you see a fifth individual lying on the floor. A large hole in their chest and a pool of blood draining out of them across to your feet as the four of you stand around it. A pistol sits on the body, its barrel smoking. All is silent as you blink, trying to come to terms with what you're seeing.
Does it seem like... Does it seem like the gun is sat nearest their hand, or was it placed there?
It appears as if it has been dropped on the body.
Do we know where the handles facing towards which one of us? See who
It
might
doesn't
have
seem
placed it.
it doesn't seem to be towards any one of you in particular.
I don't. My familiarity with these people around me, would I immediately discern them as allies?
You know their roles, and you know their roles are friendly to you to a greater or lesser extent.
Okay.
You perceive them positively.
And this person on the ground, do we know
This person
them?
on the ground, you also recognize. This person on the ground is a tall, rather handsome-looking man with a very strong beard, quite longish hair, wearing a suit, and on top of his head, a single circle of metal. You recognize him immediately. This is the king, one of the elites.
Oh, that's not good.
Was this us? Or no?
I, I don't know how to use one of those. You, and also you.
Do I have like a handkerchief or anything like that that might be near me, something that's cloth that I could use to pick up this gun?
Yeah. I mean, you're wearing a white coat with all sorts of um, items in it. Yeah, you could have a handkerchief relatively easily.
Okay, I will, not sure how I know this, but instinctively draw forth like a handkerchief, and I want to grab the firearm and place it in one of my many coat pockets.
Okay. You reach down and collect the firearm without touching it, using the handkerchief to pick it up, as assume you're talking about.
Confused, I'll sort of look to the others, mostly because I can't imagine they have a greater idea as to what's happening, or at least any more so than I do.
I will check instinctually under my arm to see if I have a holstered pistol or not.
You have a holster, but you do not have a pistol. But this pistol is not one you recognize. This is this is like a snub nose revolver pistol. And you were expecting, when you reach into your jacket, you were expecting something a little bit more modern.
Yeah, like a 9mm.
Mhm.
Okay. so it's not mine. That's good to know. First, I'm gonna check exit. Is there an exit
Okay.
immediately that I can see?
There is a door, a steel door with a big
Closed.
closed, and it has a bar across it. On this side, you could slide to the bar.
Like,
bar. You can slide the
to
bar back.
lock it.
Yeah, basically to bar it from the inside.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Is it currently bolted?
It is currently bolted. Yes.
Okay.
As you look towards the door, you hear footsteps, several sets of footsteps, and a bang, bang, bang.
I'm going to start going up against walls to find a secondary secret exit if I can.
Okay.
Because this looks like a panic room to me, and panic room means alternate escape route.
It's less of a panic room. It doesn't look like much of a utility room at all. It is a relatively bare room with no furniture in it. It's like it probably is a domicile, but it doesn't have anything in it, like it's been cleared out.
Is it a singular room, or are there,
Yes,
since it looks like a domicile,
singular room.
Singular room, no offshoots?
It's a singular room. You, however,
Yes.
you start searching the room.
Yeah.
You're looking for
Crawl space, floor hatch, roof hatch, anything.
Okay.
So
What are the rest of you doing?
I'd probably be investigating the walls like slot or like the transporter is as well.
Okay.
Using my heightened investigation skills.
I'll take another wall as well.
You said that there was a bang at the door.
Yes. Bang, bang, bang.
Was it just like an alert, or does it feel like it's a high tension, like hostile kind of bang?
It's a high tension, hostile kind of bang. Like there's several sets of footsteps outside, and the thumping repeats.
Is the king warm?
Yes.
The gun was smoking. The king is warm. We didn't wake from the gunfire. Or did we? Is that what we woke to?
I mean, there was, towards the end of your dream, a distant sound like thunder.
Hmm. Right. Can I search the king?
Sure.
I'd like to run through his pockets.
Okay. Surprisingly, the king doesn't have a huge amount of belongings on him. You find a rather nice-looking wristwatch. You find a wallet which has some currency in it.
okay.
But it's not a large amount of currency. It's a small amount of currency. But when you're looking at the currency, it's kind of the concept of currency kind of slides off your brain a little bit. Like you have a resource in your hand. That's what it feels like. It's not like you can see tokens inside.
Yeah.
But when you start thinking about counting them and figuring out how much you've got, the concept of that slides off of your brain.
Interesting. Okay. If I find nothing of note aside from the currency, I'm certainly not going to stage this to look like a robbery, especially since the body is still fresh. I will leave the money on them. The others appear to be like looking for an escape.
Okay.
Then I will move to the door. Do we think this is is this a home? Like, is this our house?
This isn't your house, but it feels a lot like this is a domicile that has been cleared out.
Right.
Perhaps specifically for the purpose of meeting.
Right. Okay. Then I will. I guess I'll look to the others. You should compose yourselves. I don't know what to expect is on the other side of this door, but I don't know if there is another way out. It may be through this.
Good.
As you say that, I should probably explain. The detective and the courtesan. You are looking for an alternative exit in a small room with one door in it. It doesn't take superlative investigative skills to realize that you aren't finding another alternative exit from here. The room's small. There are no other obvious or subtle doors that you can find. The transporter, however, almost acting on instinct, moves over to a corner of the room where a sheet of wood has been nailed to the wall, and moves it, shifts it up, slides it across to the left, rotates out of the way, and behind he finds a crawl space. It looks like an air conditioning pipe.
Yeah.
Probably big enough for you to be able to crawl through. It'd be a squeeze.
I feel like all of us could.
Yeah, you probably could.
I can't explain what's
Bang,
going
bang,
on.
bang on the
And
door.
I know none of you can. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay then. Guess find an alternate
I.
way out.
Wow, rock and a hard place, right? Oh, especially now that I have the firearm. I've picked up the pistol. It's on me. I
Exactly.
will think to grab the door to let them in, but then I draw back and it's like a second thought, right? Like running through this. And he's quick to venture to the exit as found by the transporter.
I
Okay.
will let everybody else pass first, and then, being the last one out, I assume just instinctually will close it behind me if I can,
Okay.
and just follow wherever it leads. I don't care.
You crawl through the space, and it is tight. There isn't a lot of room for you to stretch out. It's dirty. Your hands, your knees, your feet, your face, everything is covered in muck. Dust from years. As you progress into the pipe, you hear a splintering sound from behind you. The metal door that was barred seems to have been destroyed, and you can hear footsteps in the room beyond.
I'm assuming it was Doctor than me at last,
Yes.
since he was at the door. Doctor, give me the pistol.
Say less. I relinquish it from my pocket.
Instinctively, I'll shift the revolver out. And are there any bullets left?
There are 5 bullets left in the gun.
Okay, I'll close it and just slowly, while everybody keeps going, just be aware of the exit behind me. Just making sure to cover everyone as
Sure.
we continue.
You can hear the sounds of people moving around in the room. You can hear what sounds like a panicked conversation. You can't really make out the words, and as you progress down the pipe, it kind of gets swallowed up by the sound of the air traveling down the pipe, and knocks and dings as you're moving down it. But you can hear like the edge of a panicked conversation. There's shouts. Something that sounds a little bit like an accusation, and then it's gone.
Okay.
You worm your way down the pipe and eventually come out in a large steel box with pipes that run into it from all directions. It seems a junction of some point, some sort, and there's probably just about enough room for the four of you to comfortably stand, albeit quite close by one another. A moment
was
of
close.
respite.
Why were we in there?
You got me.
Why were we in there with a dead guy?
I don't think it matters why we were in there. What matters is that we all woke up at the same time.
What's the last thing any of you remember?
A field.
Field,
A field of
Sound
Flowers.
thunder.
Feeling
all-
like something was chasing me.
I mean, you can all vaguely remember what you did yesterday. Like,
Okay.
it's not in perfect clarity, but you can remember approximately the things that you did yesterday. Like, there weren't in particularly important things in the grand scheme of things. You conducted yourself in the way you live your life normally. And you can remember that. It's not very clear, but you can remember that.
It was the normal.
But all
Day to day. And I kind of like comfortably nod for a moment. I saw patience. I saw patience. And it's kind of that confusion of not sure. He remembers, it's like the memory of it all, but he's not capable of making out faces. Names even. He knows that he's seen patience. But I don't know why I was in that room.
I have a vague memory of a meeting. I don't know what about. And then the flowers, the field, feeling of being chased. And all four of us have that memory?
Hey, can I check to see if I've been drugged?
How would you do that?
As the doctor, I'm assuming that I would use some relevant medical knowledge. I'd look to see if I have any kind of features that may identify hallucinogenics, or if there is something like that has limited my oxygen levels for hallucinations. So I'd check fingernails to see if there's like any color disparity.
All right. I mean, it's a little bit difficult to do on yourself. Much easier to do on everybody else. But yeah, you can make an assessment. You don't appear. There doesn't appear to be anything obvious that would indicate to you that you have been drugged, or any of your colleagues have been drugged. There's maybe a little, like, all of you are obviously a little tired and a little stressed. But there's no obvious signs of toxins.
Can I check my pockets?
Okay.
Do I have anything in my pockets?
What would
Other
you
than-
expect to find in your pockets?
Maybe a wallet with an ID, keys, stuff like that.
You'll find a wallet. There are no keys, and there is no ID. You find a wallet that has some currency in it. Again, the same sort of thing that the doctor experienced. When you open the wallet, you'll see there are currency tokens inside, but when you start to think about them in any sense, the concept of it just kind of slides off of your brain. You just know that there is a resource here.
Right. And also, I noticed the empty holster. Do I have extra magazines on my waist or in around the holster for the gun that should go in this holster?
You have the slots for it,
but all empty.
But you don't have the weapon on you, or any of its accoutrement.
Okay.
Hale, how do outside of the fact that I know their titles, do I have any close relations with all of them? Are we friends?
Yeah, you've got a generally positive feeling towards all of them. Like you've spent time. Like you can't place it. It's
Sure.
not easy. It's not. You can't immediately bring to your mind a recollection of a time that you spent with a courtesan. But you know when you look at the courtesan, this is someone that you've spent time with. This is someone that you have a generally positive relationship with. But when you
Docs
started to
stitched
try
me
and
up a couple
thinking
times.
about, yeah, but perhaps, but you can't think of any particular instance when that's happened. You can't, like when you try to bring to your mind a recollection of something specific, it just doesn't come.
Okay,
You just
so
have this
it's
general feeling.
yeah, it's just like a persistent vibe check.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
You're not sure necessarily. One thing that's probably worth mentioning is like there is no compulsion on you to like or trust any of these people.
Yeah.
You just have this general vibe of positivity towards them.
Well, I can't say that I have much familiarity with running from murders. Not that I immediately want to assume that any of you do, though I imagine your lives are significantly more tested by stone and steel. So, and it looks to the detective. What now?
Oh, we get out of this box and act like nothing happened.
You want us to pretend? You want us to pretend like we didn't just wake up next to the king, murdered?
No,
Yes.
we need to find a safe place to hide.
Yeah. Also,
We need to lay low.
if we act suspicious, they're gonna think it was us. We gotta act like we didn't do it.
It's not
I
particularly
don't know
hard to act like I
anything.
didn't do it because I didn't do it. There is no acting. It's just a matter of fact.
One of us
How
did
do
it. We
we-
don't know which one.
How do we know that nobody saw him with us, though? That's a problem.
Yeah.
I think we need to get the hell out of here, and we need to retrace whatever footsteps we made were.
Do you remember those footsteps?
Wait, Hale,
That's why we have to investigate.
are we aware that the quote unquote the king has a guard detail?
Guard detail. You're aware of who the king is. The king is one of the elites. They live right up on the top, on the top floor. They don't very often come anywhere near the lower levels. They are one of a number of individuals. For example, you can think just off the top of your head, you can think of the prince and the president, who are also elites. They are people who are super important, that are beyond reproach, beyond the laws.
Why the hell was he down here? And he's
Do they have
separated
here?
away from
Do they-
maybe any kind of guard that he has. So there's a strong chance that they heard the sound of the gunfire and then wanted to investigate. So maybe his detail knew, maybe his retinue is aware.
With my background, do I have a feeling of where we are? Like, floor-wise?
You're on the streets,
Okay.
in the back streets, somewhere in the back streets. You're not exactly sure where. Undercity doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
But you know you're in the back streets, on the streets level.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Box. How big? You like just barely big enough to fit us. You said, like, grates or bars somewhere.
No, there are pipes that lead in from every side into this junction that's peculiarly tall enough for you to stand comfortably in. But you're all
Okay.
having to stand very close to each other.
And from where I am, there's no out, like out of this box other than the pipes.
Correct. You'd have to traverse down pipes again.
Okay. I don't like that. Do I get any kind of instinctual feeling of which of these pipes would be the best direction to go?
It depends on where you want to go. Undercity doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Undercity works on where you want to be.
Okay.
And traversing the space, the space in order to get there. One thing you do know, the pipe in the floor, there is an awful smell coming from it.
Right. In that case, with my background, I want to get to a safe house.
Okay.
And I'll propose this to the party. We need to find somewhere to lay low that is secure, that I don't believe anybody would be able to find. So I'm going to take us there, and we can discuss this more there. Because right now, I don't believe any of us have any answers for anything. So we need to find somewhere secure that we can talk this out and figure some more things out. Does that sound okay to everybody else?
Fine.
I need you to trust me for a few hours, and I swear to God, we will be somewhere safe.
Like I have a choice.
Detective?
Yep, let's go.
All right. I'm going to try to get us... If we're on streets, that's... if there's a floor lower that we can get to, because I don't want to be on the same floor that we are.
You can go down into the pipes, but the pipes is where the derelicts go. It's where the homeless live. It's where the insane tend to live. It's also where the it's a dangerous place to be because you end up in the wrong place.
One second, guys. Let's have Hale drop the priest, and we'll move Jackson right into spot. So cameras are just going to mess up for a moment, and when Hale drops his phone, then we can move those cameras in place.
Hale fails to pay any attention to exactly what was going on there.
Yeah, I know the TV's broken, guys.
Yay!
Wrong way.
There we go. Okay.
I'm still there.
I gotta make sure everything kind of falls back into line, and boom! It should mostly be good. I just have to fix and fiddle.
Oh, I'm telling the story. All right, so.
Oh, shit.
I never moved.
Okay. I feel like the pipes would be one of the last places they would search for me.
Okay. What I was going to say about the pipes, though, is if you end up in the wrong place in the pipes, you know that that's where the farms are.
Yeah.
And the farms are run by the families, and anyone that gets anywhere near the meat production places tends to end up dead.
Sounds very brick top. I don't want to wind up on a pig farm. Not like that.
I feel like I might have a good relationship, or at least a middling relationship with them, where they wouldn't immediately kill me.
Murder you on sight. God.
And I would have at least one place down there that would be secure enough for at least a half-day conversation.
Okay.
So I will.
Okay.
I guess I'll lead us at the front, since I know where I'm going.
Okay. You pick one of the pipes, and you start to crawl. You crawl for... Well, you start to crawl into the pipes, and the others assumedly follow suit. Moments later, you fall out of the pipe in what looks like a stairwell, like a metal stairwell. There is a steel door which leads out into, leads into the streets in some capacity. But the stairwell descends into the darkness, and it goes up 1 or 2 floors, and then you can see there's like a concrete ceiling. But this will be the easiest way to get down into the pipes. You descend 1 level. There's another level below you, but it's darkness. You can see the darkness from where you are, and it's cold. And it whispers to you.
Even I don't go down there.
But you open the door into the pipes, and as soon as you do, the smell hits all of your nose. Rot. This is a place where people go when they have nowhere left to turn. When they have run out of options. The pipes are wet. Cylindrical concrete corridors that twist and turn and intersect with one another. The transporter leads you through the pipes. It's like a river of brownish coloured water that runs down the middle of each of these pipes, and you can hear the sounds of vermin scuttling in the darkness.
Hey, try not to get too far ahead. I'm not trying to rush through this and get stuck and find out I'm septic. This is less than ideal.
It's okay, Doc.
God, I really hope that was a candy bar that floated by.
I'm afraid it's not.
It wasn't.
God.
So, Detective, I hate to make short of conversation here, but how's your ability at detecting? Any thoughts on what we woke up in? Or you just...
murder scene.
You're good at this. All right. Well, lead on, transporter.
Just a little bit farther, and we'll be there.
The transporter leads the way, and you travel for some distance, but your perception of the journey is odd. Like, you know when you left and you know when you arrive at the next location, but the journey that happens in between is kind of indistinct. It happens as if it transitions from one scene to another. As you arrive, the place doesn't look any different from all of the other pipes. It's an intersection of pipes, but on the banks, on the raised section on the banks, you see a oil drum burning, and you can see 2 figures standing around it. There's a smell of cooking meat. And as you approach, you make out 2 figures. 2 figures that you recognize. One, the priest. Again, you have that same general feeling of positive relationship. The other, the butcher. A large, stocky man, wearing an apron, his face haggard, his hair and beard long and dirty. He's wearing long, thick rubber gloves and has a meat cleaver in one hand. Next to the oil drum, he set up an old box, and you can see there are the carcasses of a number of rats that he's currently butchering and throwing onto a grill over the oil drum.
Is this odd? Above board, is this odd to the doctor that the priest and the butcher are hanging out in the sewers grilling rats together, because it feels like interesting bedfellows.
Yeah, I mean that's not a normal sight for you. Like again, you don't have any like strong recollections of either of these people, to be honest with you. Like when you see them, you recognize who they are by their roles. You don't have that feeling of like positive relationship with the butcher
Yeah.
that you do with the priest.
Well, interesting camaraderie we found around the fire. Forgive me for not realizing that you two were so close.
Gentlemen. Priest, what are
Jackson.
you doing down here?
That's my question for you. Hey, what am I doing here?
Jackson, I'm going to give you the same thing that I've given everybody else. You went to sleep last night. You had a not terribly remarkable day. You did normal things. You did your chores. You watched television. You enjoyed yourself. You did whatever it is that you do to fill your time. You went to sleep in your bed. And when you did, you dreamt of traversing a field in golden sunlight through wildflowers, chased by something. Eventually the scene transitioned to that of a concrete corridor. Again, in the darkness, you were chased by something and you ran down towards a door. And when you hit it, you burst into a cavern with stalactites and rocks and shadows. And you ran through this. And when you woke up, you heard in the very distant, far distance, you heard the sound of of thunder. But it's a really long way away from you. And you're instantly awake in a different body, standing in the pipes just now, with a strong memory. You've got the one thing that is sticking in your brain is that you are supposed to be here to meet up with these four. Like, the plan required you to wait for them here. But you can't remember anything else about it.
Well, it seems I was going to get some food. However, plans change as they always do. About time you all got here.
When he says plan, does that same kind of like we were supposed to meet up with him here, like vibe with us?
No, you haven't got any recollection of that. Like it seems right. Like now that he said it, it seems right, but you don't have any memory of it.
Well, Priest, I'm glad that your confidence and faith is greater than the comforts and confidence that the transporter has in this place, because he said he oftentimes wouldn't be caught dead down here, so to find you here is more surprising than not. What now? Are we close to this place, transporter?
Yeah. Yeah, we're close.
You're at it.
Yeah.
This here. This is a
Safe house?
House is a word to use.
You said you were going to bring us to a safe house, though.
Hey, it's safe.
You transporter, you know that the butcher keeps this place safe.
Yeah. It's safe. I butcher.
He nods at you. Slings another dissected rat on the
Okay.
makeshift barbecue.
So, let's talk. What the fuck?
A good first question.
Yeah.
Well, would you like the replay, because it goes fast. It was flowers in the wildest variant, chasing steel corridor, stone, explosion. Then we woke to the smell of gunfire. Then the banging on the door, and then we were kind of sort of chased until we wound up here in the Corridor de la Ficao.
Yes.
The last thing I remember is I was going to sleep. I had something important to do the next day. And as she's talking, she reaches up and she's pressing something on her chest, but there's very much not anything there.
Like a habit.
I
Like
was
a habit
I was
forming.
going somewhere. I was being sent somewhere, and then I woke up with you guys in a dead body.
Well, how about you, detective? Not often do I find myself in your company.
Unless I need your stitching from an investigation gone wrong, that's the only time we ever really see you. But I was on an investigation. Next thing I know, I woke up there.
Could we go back a moment? You all said that you found a body?
The king's body.
Will you just you were
Shut up.
Oh my god.
If he was waiting for us, he was already part of the plan and probably already knew it.
Priest, you know that makes perfect sense to you. Like, you don't have any recollection of what the plan is, but that dovetails perfectly in with what the plan was. You knew that they were supposed to be meeting with the king.
Does the plan state that they were supposed to kill the king?
You know that they were supposed to be meeting with the king. You don't know. You can't recall what was supposed to happen thereafter.
Well then, seems you all met the king as planned.
Planned?
Yes.
Met is an interesting word.
Hale, because this is our area, is there like an actual room, like a private area to this, or is it just we live in this chunk of the sewer?
This isn't where you live.
No.
This is a safe place that the transport has led the group to, and you were there when it arrived. So it's almost like this is where you were supposed to be in the first place. Like, this was ordained. This was part of the plan, obviously, in some capacity. But this is like the butcher is standing cooking the meat, not really paying any attention to you. This isn't a house, though. This is just an intersection of pipes.
Well,
Initially,
I have a sixth sense of some kind of plan. Honestly, what you described is very similar to how I got here. However, unlike you, I did not go to the meeting. Instead, I woke up here with our friend the butcher. I am supposed to meet you all here so that you can do whatever it is you're supposed to do after your meeting with the king. I know that much.
All I'm trying to do is to not catch hepatitis. I don't need typhoid down here.
we're out of the river. We're up.
Only
We're
barely.
fine.
Only
Yeah.
barely. And let's say, hypothetically, that the priest was supposed to meet us. What does that mean about the butcher? Is he supposed to be here as well?
No, the butcher is the
This-
safe.
Is my place.
Note to self, never order from the butcher again.
There's no need to be rude.
Thank you for the hospitality, butcher.
It's a matter of sanitation. And as the doctor, please let me express that this is beyond healthy.
My
I
next
think we
question.
have other things to worry about. I apologize.
Why were we meeting the king on the streets? What was the point of him coming to us and not us going to him?
I don't know.
What?
I
That
don't.
does not make sense to me.
I don't recall ever there being a time when I met with the king at all. So why now, of all times, is beyond me.
Yeah, but with the title, The King, we're pretty low. At least, this makes no sense to me.
A voice from the entrance to one of the other pipes. Quiet, slightly high-pitched, childlike voice. You turn as it speaks. I wouldn't say that you were particularly low. When you turn, you see a small boy standing propped up against the entrance to one of the pipes. He seems to be wearing like a poor Victorian boy's clothing, like a sort of flattish hat, threadbare clothing, like a red, thin red scarf around his neck. His face has dirt on it. He smiles at you as he talks, and his eyes are piercing, almost unrealistic blue. The urchin.
Do I have any recollection of any kind of relationship with the urchin?
Mercurial. That's
So I
the
know
word
his
that comes to
nature.
mind when you think of the urchin. Mercurial.
That's the $5 word of the day.
What did you do?
He skips over the little river of brown sludge and stands next to the burning drum, puts his hands up and warms himself. The butcher takes a large piece of cooked rat meat and hands it to the boy, who ravenously tucks into it.
Urchin?
Ah.
To what do we owe the
Wh-
pleasure?
What did you mean when you said that we weren't particularly low?
You're the important people.
Yeah, we're about to be important.
You're already important. You've always been important. You'll always be important. And when the next ones come, they will be important in your space.
Whoa, next ones.
I do love it when we have new people.
What do you mean, new people?
Well, you always get so confused at the start. It takes a little while for you to get into the swing of things.
Probably because our guide speaks in riddles.
Oh, we're going to have that sort of relationship, are we, priest?
You're the mercurial one.
Am I? We shall see.
I suppose we shall.
Wait,
You
what
seem
do
to
you
know what's going on?
What do you mean by the new ones? What does that mean?
Okay, let's take this from the top. Look down. Look at your hands. These aren't your hands. These have never been your hands. This has never been your body. It is a new body. You're in a new body. You are new. Clear?
No, it's as clear as the water that runs through this place.
Ah. We're going to have to do this the hard way.
Looks to the rest of them. There's an easy way. Is this not insane to anybody else?
No, it is.
Well, I mean, at the very least, I knew that these weren't mine.
Good. That's a good starting point. Those are now yours.
Are now? They're now?
Now they are, and they will be for all the time that you're here.
Are you suggesting that
Wait, where
this is
he?
inherited? That we've inherited this is mine, but I've inherited this now. This body.
Yes, now you're getting it. Not so dull as I thought you were. Excellent.
So what happened to the people before us then?
Oh, they died.
Oh, good. Great.
But we're here now.
But you're here now. And we're going to have so much fun.
Then what about the king?
Oh, he died.
So is there going to be a new king?
No
Maybe.
replacement.
If that's the city's will. Perhaps we'll get somebody new.
Who shot the king?
Now that's the question.
It is, because it was barred from inside the building, in the room, on the door.
Which one of you did it?
I think in that moment, the doctor kind of puts his hands against his body and sort of starts sizing up the rest of his allies. Or quote-unquote allies.
I mean, I did say one of us did it. Did I not?
Hey, what? I don't know how to use one of those a blicky.
I don't carry
How
a
do I know
snub
that word?
nose.
Oh, good lord, it's point and click.
Oh, the detective's got a gun, right? You have a gun.
Do I normally have a gun?
Detectives
Do you
have
have a
guns,
gun?
right? Cops have guns.
Do you carry a gun normally?
I wouldn't, unless I'm out on an investigation, but I wouldn't say I was on an investigation if I'm meeting the
Also,
king.
what is this? Like the 1950s? Who carries a snub nose?
I mean, it was popular in trysts and private detective work in circles like that. Cordis, are you sure this isn't yours? Urchin, what happens if the people that we were before did something very bad? Because when I awoke, I didn't have any. I wasn't shot, but I wound up in this body. Well, what happens if I were to kill someone? Would I?
They would be dead.
Right. Would I die as well?
If you kill someone,
I'm just trying to figure out how I inherited this body, but I had no mortal wounds.
and you're supposed to be a doctor.
Yes, I checked myself over. I didn't have any wounds.
No, you didn't. You're right. That's because it was their time. Their story was not entertaining enough.
Entertaining.
So they were replaced. That's
does
how
that
it works
mean?
down here.
Hey, I'm going to go through my pockets to see if I have any extra ammunition that may have been mine.
No, you do not.
Nothing.
What's not interesting about killing the king?
Did
Is that
I?
the beginning of our story or the end of theirs?
Do I have
I'm not-
any I'm being thorough about this. I want to inspect the pockets to see if there's any like gun oil that has been pressed into any of the additional pockets.
No.
Nothing. Okay, so I feel pretty confident that
Sure.
it's not myself. And I saw the way that the transporter held the firearm, and he said that this wasn't his. He's even like making sort of like a mockery of the gun.
I'll show the holster that would a 9mm like a 1911 or a 6 hour would be in, and that's not mine.
Wait, Urchin, how? You keep saying certain words here. Their stories are not interesting enough. Would
The city.
our how old are our bodies?
Oh, I have no idea. You were here when I got here.
How long have you been here?
Oh, a really long time.
You're still a child?
Years?
Probably.
Probably years. More than 10?
Most assuredly.
Most assuredly. More than 30?
Definitely.
I
You're still a kid.
200?
No, something.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. Transporter, it doesn't matter what you believe that your gun was supposed to be. Whether it is a 6 hour or 1911 or anything of that nature.
Glock, don't forget Glock.
We inherited these bodies. Meaning we inherited their belongings. And we've inherited their problems. So you may think that you're supposed to have something newer or
Definitely
beyond.
done that.
But that might actually be your firearm.
Can I think back to the room we woke up in and remember how the body was and where the pistol was?
Yes. You can remember it clear as day.
Sorry, can you remind me of that? Like where the pistol was laying relative to the body?
Body was lying flat on its back. The
Uh-huh.
pistol was sitting on its belly, and it had a big hole in the middle of its chest.
And I'm like splayed out like this, arms down, just or like
Arms kind of just by his side,
just by its side.
Yeah.
And the gun was on,
as if he'd been shot and fallen backwards.
and then the gun tossed on his
Yeah.
stomach. Okay.
But we didn't
Maybe he shot himself?
Doctor, you know from seeing that body, there is no way you could have got an entry wound like that from shooting himself.
Right. And there were no immediate signs of tussle or struggle in the way that he wore his clothes or anything like that. It was just a gunshot.
Yep.
No
Well,
defensive wounds on any of us either.
No, you don't have any wounds on you at all.
Hey, how tall are we?
well, I guess that's why I'm not the
Yeah.
doctor.
I don't know. How tall are you?
This is not my body. I don't know because Kirby's
No, but
6'8".
But you're in it, so you tell me what does your body look like?
I didn't think about that.
I would suppose my headcanon is male, probably early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, likely 5'10", 5'11". I'm thinking like literally average across the board, short brown hair, short, like... It looks probably a lot like myself in a lot of ways, but dirtier.
Oh yeah, I mean you're covered in dirt from crawling around in the ducting, and then wading through the pipes.
And clearly not the Adonis that I actually am in real life, but something more akin to what an average-looking Undercity dweller might be. Okay. How about
This is a good start though, because you've given us a description of what you look like. As you look at the rest of the party, why don't we get a general idea from the detective what the detective looks like?
Probably I'd say around 6 foot, 6'1", slightly taller, but not that much taller. Probably roughly the same as I currently look. Slightly longer hair, beard, mustache. So.
What's he
Really
wearing?
think about it. Trench coat, button-down shirt. His hat, lost his hat that he normally has. So.
Okay.
Where?
Good question. Good question where my hat is.
I don't like that.
Okay.
Okay. Looking then across the rest of your companions, the courtesan catches your eye. How does the courtesan look?
The courtesan is about 5'11". She is very leggy. She almost looks like what you would see most 50s pinups would look like. Her hair would normally be coiffed and curled perfectly. Unfortunately, that's been ruined for obvious reasons. And she has a ridiculous hourglass figure. When she cleans up, even actually, even though her face is not as perfect as it otherwise would be, you suppose, um, she does look eerily beautiful. It's almost uncanny.
Lovely. How does the transporter look?
He says, "Hello,
really want to, but it's not.
Do it if that's
I'm
what you want
Jason
to do.
Statham.
If that's the body that you want to be in, that's fine.
I
That's the
feel like
body.
it's-
I want to be in Jason Statham." I'm saying, you know what I'm saying here.
No, I feel like it is. It's sort of, but it's not as square jaw. It's more subtle. Not as like flashy as Jason Statham, but he's probably 5'8". Terribly average, like looks like he does not want to draw attention to himself. Like the body doesn't want to call attention to itself. Probably, I don't. Shorter black hair, not shaved or anything, just and probably currently just a black t-shirt and black pants, with the shoulder holsters on, and it feels like he should be wearing some type of coat, but he's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Then finally, the priest. How does the priest look?
I'd say he's probably. So the issue, of course, he's gonna be African American, but he looks aged, but it's that thing where it's like he looks like one of those people who he doesn't age until suddenly he does. You see like the signs of salt and pepper in his hair, but he's still like you can't quite put where his age is.
Like he could be 30 or he could be 65, and next year he's gonna look 65.
Yes.
I'm
Good
getting
looking.
Keith David is what I'm
Yeah,
sort of getting.
yeah.
Pretty good
Welcome
looking.
to hell.
Welcome to the Undercity, motherfuckers.
Oh God.
But like isn't you call him the priest, but he isn't really like wearing like anything that like screams like priestly. Just as nice as he could have kept it, black button-down shirt, black slacks. Some could be dress shoes, but I don't know. You can't quite tell beneath all the grime at this point, probably. He's got a book with him that he seems to just be absentmindedly just keeping on his person. But,
Okay.
and for height, I'd say probably 6 even.
Wait, how tall was the transporter?
He's like 5'8", 5'9".
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
I'm right in there too. I was like, am I actually the short guy
Yeah.
this go around?
Finally, Bub, your time's
Depends
now.
depends on what shoes he's wearing that day.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right. So knowing this now, I think it's safe to assume that, as the urchin has dictated, we have not only inherited these bodies, but we have inherited issues and challenges. And our stories just got a lot more complicated. I'm having a hard time swallowing the fact that we've inherited anything, because I feel like I remember the events of yesterday and the day before, and this feels all too familiar. So whatever that means is currently beyond me, and I'm wrapping my head around it. But I have no doubt in my mind that we all just woke up, sans the priest and the butcher, in a room where a figure known as the king was shot, where the door was locked, the breaching passage where we escaped had been shuttered for gods know how long. And that means that one of us shot him. And if anything, that the urchin is saying is true, then there is a strong likelihood that there will be another king sooner before later. And then this might be a fleeting moment where we don't even realize that it's a different person.
When you say, if anything the urchin says is true, the urchin clutches at his chest, staggers back, and puts the hand up against the wall as if mortally wounded. And then he stops, turns to you, and smiles.
I don't even know why I'm believing you. Just quit it. Quit it. We're trying to figure this out, and help is appreciated. And I gather that you're just making light of this because you are, after all, something beyond the sense of normality. But just let us swallow this for a moment before we move on to the next endeavor, whatever episode 2 of this bullshit looks like. Thanks.
He's very grumpy, isn't he?
In our defense, we did just meet you.
We,
yes,
as
but we've
in
met many times
who we
before.
he meant who we once were. That's what he means. Because we don't really know our relationship with you. And yes, I'm a little grumpy. I just spent more than a few hours walking through human shit after I, in my beleaguered state, may have shot a man. Which I'm fairly confident at this point it wasn't me. So...
Well, I didn't make your plan to meet up in the pipes, did I? He looks over at the priest.
Oh, this was your plan. You wanted this? You asked for this specifically?
I mean, we're alive.
It's secure as anything.
Well, the plan was that you were supposed to be here. That's all I can remember from the, I suppose we'll call them the previous occupant.
I guess we shouldn't be too upset at the current iteration of us.
Oh.
Which feels weird to say.
You know, you're not wrong. Because it wasn't us.
Still...
We didn't kill the king.
Slightly upset.
It wasn't us, right, Urchin? It wasn't us. It was who we were.
Yes, but you are who you were.
But we are who
You're
we
right.
are.
Our body. But we have no recollection of killing the king.
Oh, I'm sure that story will wash with everybody that you tell it to.
Yeah. That's not going to go very far.
Well, not that I think that forensics matters much in this place at this point, but my fingerprints aren't found on that gun.
You touched it.
With gloves on.
With a
that's
handkerchief.
Right. You picked it up with a handkerchief. That's right.
Yeah.
Let's hope nobody knew you were intending to meet with the king down there then. Anyway, this place smells awful. Should we go back to your place?
Which one of our places?
Whose place? My
Your
place?
place. He looks at you slightly confused.
Does it
Yes, let's
in
go
that
back to our
context?
place.
Does that sound like our place? The five
I
of
mean,
us. What he's
perhaps
suggesting.
that could quite conceivably be what he is suggesting.
Okay.
Yes,
All
Urchin,
right.
let's go.
Let's go. And I guess we'll start. I'll just start walking.
The urchin leads the way.
Okay.
Thank
He dances over one of the rivers of sludge and ducks into one of the pipes. And a little way down, there is a ladder. An old steel ladder. It's clearly been here, exposed to the elements for some time. It's rusted. It's worn. It's slick to the touch. And the urchin bounds up it as if it's perfectly natural for him to do so.
God,
And
these
away.
scuttles.
Scuttles is a good word. Scuttles and mercurial.
Mercurially scuttling.
I'll go up as well, I guess.
Yeah. I tiredly follow. My head hurts.
As you climb the ladder into the darkness above, suddenly there is a chink of light, and then what looks like a manhole cover is pulled away. You're not entirely sure how a small child. I mean, this kid is like 6 years old. He looks like he's 6 years old, but he's managed to lift a manhole cover and push it off and climb out of the tunnel into the streets again. As you ascend and climb up, you're in it's like a little delivery section that borders onto two businesses, and you're basically just on the main drag of the streets. The streets are absolutely crawling with people. There are makeshift stalls lining the outsides of the streets, and the streets are quite wide itself. It's cobbled. There's little market stalls, sometimes little blankets just on the floor with trinkets on lying on them. People definitely stepping around them. There's when I say a lot of people, like hundreds, perhaps thousands of people moving organically around one another. Nobody is colliding with one another. It's all perfectly. It's like a dance. As you watch a bicycle with a trailer on the back with two people in it hurtles down the middle of the street, and people organically and naturally get out of the way of it. It's just like this little bubble as it travels down the street. It's dark. There are neon lights everywhere and lanterns. There's a smell of unwashed bodies and cooking food and the odd open sewer. There's chatter. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like the transporter. It's a lot more bodies than that. There's graffiti everywhere. You can see in the distance, further down the road, there is what looks like a tent, perhaps like a circus tent in the distance, right in the middle of the street. The urchin stands propped up against the wall, waiting for you to finish climbing out.
As the priest is climbing out, he holds the book up towards whoever is like ahead of him, like, hold this, please.
I'll grab it and then hold it for him.
he'll finish climbing out and just simply hold his hand out for the book again.
Now I'll give it back.
Thanks, it's important.
Yes, make sure you don't lose that.
I feel like we're gonna get a lot of that. It feels important.
So, shall we head to your place?
Let's go.
Please.
Your place?
Okay.
He skips off happily down the street. A little way down the main drag, he hangs a left into an alleyway. And when I say an alleyway, I mean it's narrow. It's just wide enough for you to walk, like your shoulders are just off the walls. There are bundles of cables that run above your head and sometimes down and into a wall, and you have to literally duck around them. There's the gutters that run down the side, a gutter that runs down the side of the alleyway. There's this trickle of water that runs down, a sort of brownish coloured water, like dirty rainwater. The walls are wet. Some of the walls are poured concrete, some red brick. There are downpipes.
Feeling more and more familiar.
Every so often there's a door in the wall, but they're not equally spaced out from one another. They're higgledy-piggledy. The urchin leads you through twists and turns across crossroads. There's an incline at one point. Across a courtyard where 6 paths all meet into one another. And there's like a little square, I suppose the word is for it, where what looks like somebody has built what looks like the semblance of a tree out of scrap metal in the middle of it. It's really quite beautiful. It has lots of little hanging like eaves and fobs and things like that hanging as if they would be leaves, and it kind of branches up all across the center of the square. He walks across the area, touches the tree as he walks past, and into another alleyway. And about halfway down,
Is this just not strange to anybody else? Like, why? I get that we're all sort of bereft of knowledge here, but we're being led by some less than natural 6-year-old, 8-year-old. Hard to tell.
Yeah, well,
Like 200-year-old, 6-year-old, something like
He knows things.
That's
which
clear.
I tend to figure out.
That's clear.
Yeah.
But am I the only one that has a sense of panic?
oddly, I don't.
Doctor,
And I guess that is
that-
odd in its own way.
I suppose that's odd. Doctor, if I may, you look around, you see this, what did the little guy call it? Undercity? This Undercity. You woke up, perhaps, possibly did something, or the previous doctor did. We don't know. But you're here now. You can be scared, but you're just going to have to do it scared. I don't think we get much of a choice unless you know how to leave.
I'm afraid
Leave?
I don't know if there's any leaving anymore.
There's one easy way to leave.
I think my concern lies in my lack of memory. That I have a memory, but it's not. There's no continuity in my memory, and I'm just accepting everything that he is saying at face value for what it is. Clearly knowing infinitely more than he's giving us.
I don't think I'm I'm not taking anything. I'm taking everything with a grain of salt, with doubt. But what else is there to do other than gather information, figure out, I guess, how we got here, why we are here, and then
the
go
boring
from
questions.
Well, I'm sorry, little whatever the fuck you are.
Urchin.
I just woke up in a different body.
Yes.
Excuse me if I'm confused.
Wait, is this the same with everyone? With everyone around us?
Oh no.
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 No, next you're going to tell me that we're special.
Oh,
You did already say
quite
that.
special.
Quite special. Quite.
Most of these people, and he kind of gestures at sort of people that are moving around in the alleyways, and sometimes as you're moving through the alleyways, you have to kind of press up against a wall to allow somebody else to get past you. He gestures at some of them. Most of them were born here. Some of them found their way here by accident.
Like us? An
Oh
accident
no,
like us?
not like you. You're different. You're
I have
special.
a feeling we weren't accidentally placed here.
You were picked.
Why were we picked?
I'm not the city. I don't know the answer to that question.
You say that like the city is alive.
The city picked us.
How else could it be?
You understand how weird that sounds, right?
That's not the least weird thing
Oh,
that
no.
I have heard today.
The Undercity provides. She always does.
Undercity provides.
Well, I'm glad that at least one of us is acclimated. That's fantastic. Can the urchin provide for us a series of warnings so as to not piss off either the city, the things above that govern us, or maybe a series of relevant enemies that I, as the doctor, whom of course I'm not like a David or a Derek, a Darian, a Devon, that I don't have a name, I have a title.
That's because you're important.
Thank you.
And in answer to your question, I could, but that's not my job, my role.
And whose
For
job is
that,
it?
you need to go and see the concierge tomorrow. He will tell you the answers to your questions.
Okay. What's your role? To be this?
I see we have found the astute member of the party.
Yeah. Transporter.
You make it very difficult
Doctor.
to like you.
Detective. They are titles of jobs.
No, they are the roles.
Wait a minute, Courtesan. And you said that we inherit problems. Did I inherit crabs?
He
think
looks at
one of
you
us
and
or
then
two
And
of us can
he
determine
walks
that.
down the alley.
he looks at you, looks at your crotch, looks back at you and says, I don't know, did you?
Ugh. I don't like this.
Anyway, we have arrived. He stands next to a door. It has the number 23 written in red paint, just like crudely painted on the door.
Guess this is it?
What is this?
Thank you, I guess.
Your place.
What do you mean by your what is that? I'm
This is your
rooming.
place.
I'm rooming with these people.
Did you have
Alluded
some
to.
penthouse that you wish to go to instead?
I wish I certainly did.
Perhaps if your story was more interesting.
He did say.
I really hope that the next urchin is less of a shithead.
Next? There hasn't been a next. There's only ever been one urchin.
When children draw you, is it oftentimes with devil horns and you rubbing your fingertips together?
No, the children love me.
I am certain until they're at least of age. Mercurial, I hazard to declare that as actually meaning plotting, because I feel like that's what you do in your meantime is plot.
I like goat hoofs.
Definitely goat hooves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Furry legs. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A tiny pervert, too. That's why you knew
Yeah.
she didn't have crabs. Yeah.
I've been around a long time, and you wound me, sir.
I don't
Don't have a
know
gun.
how to wound you. I don't know how to wound you.
With your words.
How would someone wound you?
Carefully.
Well, perhaps we can make it up to each other then. With a little explanation, I am more than willing to admit that there is some misdirection or misguidance that is in my path, and I would love to apologize, but it's very difficult to. It's very difficult to.
What do you wish to know, Doctor? Perhaps we can trade for it.
And what would someone like yourself ask for in trade?
Depends on what you want to know.
Let's just start with what happened to my old life.
I'm afraid I don't know. That's beyond my ability to see. My vision extends to the borders of Undercity and no further. I would like to assist you with that, but I cannot tell you the answer.
Am I married? Do I have children?
The Doctor?
I guess, yes. Are any of us married? Do any of us have children?
Imagine, for me, the third most important person in your life. Do you have that image in your mind?
I'll be frank with you, Urchin. I don't even know what I look like.
No, before.
No, I don't. I don't remember. I don't know, and I feel like that's deliberate.
I mean, you can, from an out-of-character perspective, you can remember the important people and important events that happened in your life, but they're out of context. And you can remember first names, but you can't remember anything beyond that.
Above board, I'm asking about my current character.
Yes.
About whom I am now. Is the Doctor married? Not
Yes.
necessarily whom the Doctor was
Yes.
previous.
I understood. And I want you to remember the third most important person in your life before. Do you have that image in your mind?
What time? You have to go out. It's been hours. Let's go.
I think I do.
Okay. I will answer your question if you give me that memory.
You know, I think I'm good. Because I think if there is someone that occupies the third most important face in my life, they'll appear before you take that memory from me. What would I have to gain from offering you a memory? I could share it with you. But giving it to you?
That's what I want. In exchange for the information that you ask for, I will answer your question clearly and without obfuscation. I will give you precisely what it is you want within the spirit and the letter of what you have asked in exchange for that memory.
You know, I can say with the utmost confidence that whatever it is, whatever and whomever they look like, I'm not fully prepared to lose that for forever. Not that I couldn't make it again. Not sure if I could ever make it again. But I'm certainly not going to make a sacrifice so that everybody can learn of something that already exists.
Very well.
Forgive me, everybody. I didn't mean to assume that not everybody else would be willing to make that sacrifice, but I apparently know you. And if you are married and you have children, you might be more than willing to make that sacrifice. But I can't yet, at least until I wrap my head around some things, because I feel like that memory is more important than learning that I may have family here.
I don't blame you.
Same boat.
And if I'm going to make that sacrifice, I certainly don't want to feel like I'm being bent over a barrel for just a little bit.
Yeah. I can figure those things out myself if I need to.
Mr. Urchin?
No, just the urchin.
The Urchin, I have a question, but it's a little more broad strokes than what's been discussed. Has anybody ever gotten out?
This is really something that you should discuss with the concierge, but I will give you this for free.
It's probably
Yes.
because of the crabs.
A great many have gotten out, but not in a way that you would like.
The previous
usual
inhabitants
way.
of our body got out.
Yes. The usual way to escape. For one such as yourselves, for the chosen, for the ones who inhabit the wrongs. The usual way out is through death. There are some who have thought they have found a way out. Some have attempted to flee through the darkness. And truth be told, they were never heard of again. Perhaps they made it. I doubt it. There are things that live in the darkness. I'm not aware of anyone just upping and walking out. That's not how Undercity works.
Thank you.
There may be a way, though.
And as though it's instinct, she kind of uses the back of her hand to smack the doctor. You're supposed to be a doctor, not a wang.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out still.
I'm gonna head inside and out of the street.
You open the door.
Urchin, before we go, where will we find the concierge? You said tomorrow.
Piping House. On the main street. The tent.
Thank you.
Try
We'll
the
conduct
noodles.
I will. We'll conduct business later, I suppose.
Oh, you're punishing me. You're not allowing me to enter your domicile.
Do you want to?
No.
Not if I'm not wanted. It's been a pleasure to make your acquaintance once again. Such interesting new characters. I look forward to seeing how your adventures unfold.
Is this where I go? Pss, 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 pss. Go on, get.
He takes a
God,
step
what
back.
is wrong with you?
He takes a step back. He bows in a very kind of courtly fashion, stands upright, sticks his mid-digit up in the direction of the doctor, and turns and walks off.
Ugh.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna instinct. I'm going inside and instinctively go to my room?
Okay.
Does it
So-
feel like I have a room here?
So you both go inside and into your room in the same motion. You walk inside and you find a room. The room is it's a single room. There is a very basic. There's a couch, threadbare couch. There is a very basic set of boxes that have been set up that look like a countertop for a sink. What looks like an old refrigerator, like a really super old refrigerator that clearly is not powered, and is used. It looks like it's more used as a cupboard than anything else. A bowl on top of the countertop, and off behind the sofa, which is kind of like in the middle of the room. There's behind that there is there are 2 single beds and 3 hammocks attached to the walls. There are like sets of small boxes, like a small box next to each of the beds or the hammocks that obviously
Like a nightstand?
kind of like a nightstand or somewhere
Yeah.
that you would put whatever your possessions would be. There's no electric lights. You can see there are 2
Oil lanterns?
2 lanterns. One is an oil lantern. The other is a modern camping electric lantern.
Like a crank modern electric?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're suspended from strings on the ceiling.
First want is to open the fridge and see what's in there.
You find a selection of cans, mostly cans.
Like meats, canned of meats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some jars. The floor is mostly threadbare carpet, but it's not one single piece. It's like several pieces of carpet that have been taken from different locations. It's different colors and approximately placed together. Most of it is relatively threadbare. There are a couple of rugs on the floor to kind of patch up areas that have got particularly bad. One thing that you can tell about it is it's actually reasonably clean. Comparative to the rest of the streets, this room is clean, it's dry, it's more or less secure. There is obviously a door, and there is a bar on the inside.
Is there a sink or anything?
There's a bowl.
Like a something to like wash a face in or something along the
There's a
lines.
bowl with some
There's
water
a
in it.
bowl with some water in it.
The doctor walks into the room. He goes, "You've wounded me. I can tell when I'm not." Fuck him, dude. That's got to be a vampire.
Wow,
Has to be.
Really got to you, didn't he?
He asked,
Jesus.
"Am I not invited in?" Listen. I don't know if you've caught relevant media, but I remember enough.
that was a fake creature, like hands down, right? That was some kind of little
And yeah,
fairy
yes,
kid.
he got
some-
under my skin. Yeah, you know, he's what? An aggressive 8-year-old who's been here a long time? He could have absolutely been lying about the entire thing. Yeah, maybe he knows some things, but he could have just been lying. Why am I gonna fear him? What's he gonna do? If anything that he said is holding any merit, he can't kill us.
I mean, he probably could.
But what would he gain? If our story is too
Nothing.
interesting suddenly.
But I don't think.
Look, I'm not trying to make enemies. All I'm going to say is, does anybody else find it just a
No.
little unfair that he's willing to trade what we would say is semi-important for something that is arguably way more important?
We don't know its
Are you
value
speaking
yet.
the way more important is your past memory, and the important is do you
He didn't
have
want
family here?
He didn't want my past memory. He wanted something of the doctor's. That's what he wanted. And I don't know why, because I certainly don't know what he would gain from that. That being said, I get it that this is supposed to be normal, that everybody is seamlessly in step. But someone else has to buck back. Maybe
No,
things
not
are very, very fucking normal for the rest of you guys, but this is a little harder for me to just dive down onto. It's not exactly the richest apple core that I'm prepared to sink my teeth into. This is far from normal, and this is bullshit.
Yes, you're correct. Sorry, I just prefer to get to the bottom of things by doing. And he says that as he begins poking at the floor, like he's checking to see if there's any like hidden spots to hide
Safe.
things in the floor.
Yeah, I think Transporter will also like instinctively go to like the back of the couch or in one of the cushions to look for the pistol that goes in his holster
Okay.
to see
So-
if he can like.
So when you walk into this room it feels intimately familiar to you. Like this is a place that you've spent time before. Like you know it. You know the comfortable place to sit on the couch. You know where you would prop when you were having a conversation with whomever was in the place. Like there's a comfortable place that you like to prop up against.
Yeah,
You know which one of these beds belongs to you.
I have
But
a
you
hammock.
also know where you would have hidden something in this room. And you're absolutely right. When you go looking, there is a section on the back of the couch. When you walk in, it's almost like your hands instinctively go to the right place. There's a catch on the side of the couch, and you move your finger into it, and then flick, and part of the couch opens up, and inside you find your pistol and a single magazine.
Okay, well, that solves that. Take that out.
The magazine is loaded with rounds, but
So I
there
have
are no additional.
two full
there-
mags.
And there are
The
no
one that's
additional.
in.
Correct.
Okay.
And there are no additional bullets here.
Okay. So there's the full mag that's already in the
Yes.
pistol and the extra full mag.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
The priest, when he goes to look, he prods around on the floor and he finds there's a section where the carpet has worn away and a what's the word I'm looking for? A rug has been placed over the top of it, and that's like there's several places in this room where that's the case, and even the rugs are threadbare, but it's better than what it was in the first place. The one nearest to the bed that you know is yours. When you lift the rug up, you find a section in the floor which is it's like flagstones underneath the carpet. And one of the flagstones, the masonry has obviously been scraped away, and you lift it and find a small area that has that is obviously designed for you to hide whatever it is that you wish to hide in it.
The courtesan is going to look at the sleeping arrangement and smirk at the doctor and say, "Judging by proximity, looks like it's our crabs." She's going to search around to see if she has an appointment book or a little black book. I think that's the natural connection she'll make. And then if she finds her client list or whatever the hell she's looking for, she is going to next instinctively go to the basin and just start vigorously scrubbing.
The doctor is going to as she says that he turns away from everyone else and immediately looks down at his groin, like lifts the pants, and he starts inspecting.
You find no crabs.
Oh, please. Thank you, priest.
Even make
Thank
even
you.
make him roll for that.
You're welcome.
I'm a doctor, okay? I would know.
You said we know which beds are ours? Whose
You
bed
do
is who?
instinctively know which
I
bed
have a
is whose.
hammock. I have a hammock that it's in the corner that is, and it has a eye line to the door.
Okay.
So it goes like it's in a corner, so it kind of goes from the wall to the wall. And it's something that I could just roll out of if I need to.
Okay. king's dead. There's
Yeah,
no,
let's round back to that.
There's no getting away from that, right? There was a body. We saw the body. But what does
And
it
was
mean
warm.
when the king comes back? Does that mean if the king, will there be a new king, or is it suddenly his story's tired and the city doesn't want to hear his story anymore?
Yeah, if
be
the
either.
king comes back.
Is there a prince? There's a president. We know there's
that.
a president.
You know there's a prince.
Then if there's a
Yeah.
prince and the king died, will he not assume the role? Will there be a new
But
prince?
he already has a role. So would we just get a new king, or would the king's story just fade away?
Or would we get a new prince? This is
Didn't-
bullshit.
Didn't the urchins say that we're the only ones who do this weird body jumping thing?
I thought he was
They said the
implying that
roles.
I think
the roles.
I think it was an implication of the role.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There might be a new king, and
Wait, who did
we were the
he
only ones
say
who
that we
know
had to
it's
we
a
had to
different
meet?
person.
He said the
The
concierge.
concierge. We
concierge.
have to meet the concierge. Where the hell is the concierge at?
Taiping
Taiping.
House. He said there was a tent
Is
on the streets.
it's
In the
it's great
Main Street.
that we suddenly have a very, very modest and humble abode. But I don't know if I want to wait until tomorrow to meet the concierge because,
I
well,
was actually going to ask.
the directions as dictated by the urchin, while they were crystal clear, there were so many paths and so many things, and I feel like the concierge isn't going to come with a tagline warning of make an offer, ask a question, and I'll take something in return. So I feel in my heart of hearts that maybe we should seek out the concierge sooner before later. And you know what? If you guys decide that you got to sleep it off, that's cool. But I feel like I have to.
That was going to be my question. Like, I know we just woke up in these bodies a couple hours ago, but does it feel like this body has been awake for 12, 15 hours? Does this body feel tired right now?
Yeah, a little tired. Not like it's towards the end of the day, but not like you're dog tired.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Are any of you fucking weird? Are you like the urchin? You're like a few 100 years old, 8-year-old that plays in riddles and myths, and you want my memories? Because that's completely normal. Like, speak now, all right? Or
Not
forever
that
hold
I'm
your peace.
aware of.
Well, now that you say it, no, I don't know.
If I am, I'm unaware.
I mean,
Gi-
We
give me
gotta
a
be
moment.
weird
I
to
just
have been
want to
put
check this book.
into other bodies.
Do I have a scalpel?
Yeah.
Can I nick my thumb?
I was about to say, is
Yeah.
he in full doctor outfit right now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna nick my thumb. Do I bleed?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
like I
And it hurts.
hard wince my hand. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'll
That-
hold my palm up. Hit
And
me.
then the first thought that comes to your mind after you've done that is, oh my god, this place is dirty.
And it's real, and it's still real. I am not dreaming. I'm not son of a bitch. And he starts sucking on his thumb, like, that was a bad move.
Okay,
Right.
2 questions.
Never mind,
Do you
don't
think
hit
you
me.
should have washed your hands before you did that? And secondly, doesn't your hand still have poo on it and you have it in your mouth?
No, stop it. Stop trying to make sense of this. Like any of this makes sense.
She's got a
Okay.
point, though.
No, let the man enjoy his diarrhea.
Oh, I'm certain that we're all walking away with this with the squirts from all directions. This is bad. This is bad.
I feel fine.
Ugh.
Did anyone see any cattle
I'm not.
at all? Were there dogs? Did we see cats?
I'm
You
not going to think about that.
you haven't seen dogs and cats. You've seen rats, certainly.
And people.
Great. So, did we? Do I know of if I assess my memory? Do I know of a place where I can get vegetables? I mean, short of canned goods,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
is there any produce?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
there are farms.
So you know that you can get most of that stuff, and as soon as you start thinking about it, you know that you can get most of that stuff at the middle market. You could probably get some of it on the streets, but you probably would only really want to buy vegetables on the streets if you were desperate.
Gotcha. Okay, so...
And
Probably a lot of
meat-
mushrooms down here on the streets.
Yeah, and you also know that meat, you can buy meat in the middle market, and you'd be pretty safe with that sort of stuff. You can buy meat on the streets, and you might have rolled the dice doing that and been perfectly fine.
Okay, next question. Am I aware of there being functional cattle farms?
So you have a vague memory that there are animals that are grown in Undercity, but you don't really know where they come from.
Great.
You don't know. Whereas the transporter's got this kind of recollection in his brain that there are farms in the pipes. You don't have that recollection. You just know
But
that
I know that they're...
that there is meat in Undercity, and it is clearly pork or beef or chicken or sheep. But you know that it is distinctly different types of meat. You just don't, as the doctor doesn't necessarily know where it comes from.
Hale, would I be able to determine, like, am I capable of assessing the either the memory or an understanding of the population of Undercity?
So yeah, when you start to think about it, and it seems like it's a natural thing for you to take into consideration, possibly as part of your role, actually. You know that there's probably there's multiple millions of people that live in Undercity. You think possibly 3. You're not sure of an exact number, but you think from your estimations there's probably 3 million people, possibly 3.5 million people living in Undercity. You also know that Undercity is actually a relatively small space.
And I'm also aware, is there a significant amount of sickness that runs rampant?
Off and on.
Off and on, off and on. Okay, so if it's an off and on and it's not consistent, meaning that there is some general nutrition that functionally subsists up in this place. So knowing that means protein values haven't tanked. Because protein values haven't tanked, whether I have significant farms or keeping this inside my brain pan, there are mystery meats.
Could be mystery meats.
Okay. I'm not going to say that out loud. I don't think my character... I'm kind of manic. This is a little manic, right? So, I think I'm heading to the Taiping tent. And
you know exactly where that is and exactly how to get there.
If anyone would like to join me, you can. But I need some introductions. I need a better understanding of things. And I get it if you're tired. I'm tired, but I've got this nervous energy about me, right? It's like I'm meeting someone incredibly important. I think it's me. I think I'm meeting me for the first time. So,
I mean, you kind of are.
Astute as always. Thank you, Detective. You are on it.
Always.
Doctor, I'll go with you. You shouldn't go alone while we're still learning this place. Just...
No, I actually think it's completely okay if we go alone, because if what I believe is accurate, I may be the only functional recognized doctor in this entire establishment meant to assist with somewhere between 1 and 3 million people. So I think that I will be fairly respected. On the other hand, the detective may not, because if there are any underhanded dealings, they may shy away from him. The priest, you may also have friends, and I'm going to guess, forgive me for assuming as such, but the courtesan has a lot of friends.
So I'm not sure if we should be seen in a group together.
You must remember, Doctor, there will always be another doctor.
Oh yes, but the reputation doesn't leave the body. That's accepting. full stop, everything that the urchin said. So it's time to put it to the test. And conveniently enough, I know exactly where I'm going. I don't know how I know where I'm going, but I know exactly where the typing restaurant is. So,
like I said, I'll follow behind you. I'm just going to be trying to learn about this book I came with while we're at it.
does everybody know where the typing restaurant is?
Intimately familiar with the location.
Yes.
I'll go, but I'm not gonna go with y'all. Like, I am gonna go 10, 15 minutes after you guys leave. Just to not be a five-person group walking through the city. Because I don't know. We don't know what other people know about the supposed meeting we had with the king.
I don't think it matters if we show up together or not, because if anybody knows this whatsoever, then they know that this is our room, and apparently the 4 to 5 of us bunk together. So there's a strong chance that they are aware that we are, at the very least, roommates.
When the courtesan finishes scrubbing herself off, she's going to look for something to cover herself with to make herself less maybe recognizable or noticeable. Well, I mean, he who hesitates masturbates, so let's do this.
Yeah, and I will go to my hammock and grab the longer coat. It's not much of a trench coat. It stops probably halfway down from hip to knee, like halfway there, or maybe all the way down to the knee, but not all the way down to the floor.
It's clean, it's warm, it's
Yeah.
comfortable, and it's familiar. This coat feels like home.
I'm trying to think if it has a hood or not. I think it does have a hood.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not. It's more button, kind of like peacoat, but yeah, kind of larger round buttons that hook together.
You making a fashion statement?
Yeah,
Okay, Sally Forth and all that?
it's comfortable.
I guess.
Okay,
Let's go.
you leave your place, room 23. And you stagger, as described. You stagger your departure times.
Yeah.
But you all arrive at Typing House at the same time,
What the hell?
irrespective
That I don't
of when
like.
you left. You all arrive at the same time, and furthermore, it's really jarring because you don't have any recollection of the journey.
So I didn't read the book along the journey, or did I read the book along
No.
the journey?
Well, you've got a recollection of the, like, in your brain, you know that you intended on doing that, but you can't remember anything about the journey. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But you have arrived at Typing House. The time between when you left the door to room 23 and the time when you walked into the large circus tent that is Typing House did not seem to pass for you.
Did we just fast travel?
Yeah, what the hell happened, man?
That's
I
a
thought you were
good
gonna,
description.
you're gonna
That
be
feels
like,
like a good description.
said you were gonna leave like 15 minutes after us. Wow, how did you
I
wind
did.
up here?
I did.
But
I mean,
we
you do all know the side passages, so maybe?
None of us left at the same
I
time. What the hell is
don't-
this?
time didn't act right there. I haven't
That-
started this book. We've been walking for a while, but we're just
I don't-
here.
I barely remember the walk. It feels like a cutscene or a. I
As
don't
you
like
walk
that.
it in to the large circus tent that is Typing House, you see On the outside, it's a red and white striped circus tent. On the inside, there is, in the center of the tent, there is a large squared off bar area, inside which there is what looks like a kitchen that has been erected, and it's filled with some quite modern burners. Parts of it look like it's a modern kitchen, parts of it look quite antiquated. There are several people working behind the bar, one of which is an older man with a long grey beard and a big chef's hat on his head. He has a meat cleaver in his hand. His arms are folded across his chest. He doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot of cooking. He's more instructing the younger members of staff in cooking noodles, and he's busy. Around that bar, there are lots of little mismatched stools arranged all around, and they're all filled. There are many people in here. Towards the outskirts of the tent itself, there are sections. Canvas walls have been put up, and the whole tent is sectioned into lots of different little cubbies. Some of them have got a canvas or a veil in front of it, obscuring what's going on inside. Some of them are open. The ones that are open, you can see there are tables, chairs. They're set up as individual areas, and specific groups have taken up residence in different areas. Quite a lot of the areas seem to be filled with big, burly individuals who are equipped with weaponry. If you could put a word on them to describe them, you would say they look like mercenaries. Some of the cubbies just have tables and chairs in them and look like they've been set up for members of the public to go and eat. And you can see that there are people sitting at tables and eating and laughing and enjoying their time. Some of them are gambling. Some of them are playing board games. It feels like the atmosphere in here feels very much like a overcrowded bar without any alcohol in it. One of the cubby holes, you see there is a canvas has been placed over the front of it, but there's like a doorway that's cut out of it that's rolled up, and you can see there is a man sitting at a table in here on his own, and you recognize him the moment you lay your eyes on him as being the concierge. It's impossible to describe how old he is. He's ugly. Really, his face is deformed. He has no hair. He's sitting in kind of the area doesn't seem to have any light in it, so he's kind of highlighted by the lights that come in through the open doorway. He seems to be wearing a uniform of some description. Maybe it's military, maybe it's the kind of uniform that someone would wear in a hotel, like a posh hotel. But you see him sitting in the darkness or the shadows.
Right. Well, I beeline. Excuse me. Part. Wow. Hi. Hello, big fella. Yeah, that's a great look. I'm
sorry, Doctor. Please. The man steps aside.
That checks out. I stride forward with a bit more confidence.
People get out of your way.
All right.
Kind of glance back at them.
The courtesan's going to use this as a way for her to kind of get by unseen.
Mm-hmm. Were you following in the doctor's wake?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow as well.
Slowly, methodically following.
Transporter's
She's
gonna
not trying to
look,
get stopped by a fuckboy.
Transporter's gonna look towards the food area, instinctively wave someone down 5 bowls to the concierge table.
So one of the people working behind the bar kind of glances at you and nods.
And then I'll go. I am hungry.
Okay.
I'll wrap Knuckles across the wood of the bench. Concierge.
He was looking down at the table. He looks up at you. His eyes are bloodshot and dark.
Could I steal a moment of your time, if it appears that you have mostly an open bench? I was hoping for some introductions.
Doctor, you're early. I was expecting you tomorrow.
Sorry, I was a little excited.
It's fine. As you can see, my appointments are wide open. Please, come in and bring your fellows.
Wouldn't dream of doing this without them.
It's like a half moon kind of bench setup.
Yeah.
I'll sit on the end.
I'll be the first to slide in because he's just hungry to get this information.
I'll slide in next.
Who's next?
I imagine Priest is last.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like the priest and the transporter are on the both ends.
My dear priest, if you wouldn't mind, could you roll the door down? We wouldn't want to be disturbed.
Very well.
Hold on.
And he'll
For
just
the
get
food.
the flap.
Yeah.
He'll probably see
I guess-
someone coming up with the food, so he'll just like place his book on the table, turn around, one hand out for like the like the platter with all the bowls.
There's a platter with a selection of mismatched bowls and mismatched chopsticks.
Put that on the table and then just roll it down.
So we're early.
Yes,
You
yes. It's not the first time. Don't worry.
Must be aware of our situation then.
Yes, I am uniquely qualified.
Well, the urchin has declared that you have quite a bit of information for
The
us.
urchin.
And he was
Yes.
prepared to take things that might be valuable. It may have been a little volatile with them, but they at least said that I could speak with you to garner some information, at least answers.
Be wary of the urchin.
You don't have to tell me twice.
It is a valuable ally and a deadly enemy. Depending on how you treat it and how it feels on any particular day, can be very useful, but also very dangerous. And almost everything it says can be taken at multiple different ways. Anyway, enough of that creature. Yes, I am the concierge. My job here is to greet the new people as they arrive. I apologize. This must be a very testing time for you. My role is to facilitate your transition. I will not be charging you as the urchin does. This is my entire purpose. Ask your questions, and I will do my best to answer them to the best of my abilities. There are limits to what I know and what I can say. but I will do my best for you.
Right? Well, maybe it's best that we tell you what we know already, and you can fill in the blanks.
As you wish.
We woke up in a room that was not ours. And let's just say things were a bit more hostile than I think we're used to. We understand that we are associated with each other, but not necessarily friends or allies. That being said, we still share a room. The 5 of us. We know that our lives are roles in stories in an intricate play that do not necessarily belong to us, but that we were taken away to perform those roles. We do not know if we have families, loved ones, children, at least that we can immediately recollect. I know that I'm the doctor, as I know that he is the detective, she is the courtesan, he is the priest, and my friend here is the transporter. I know that I command some form of respect, as I've just discovered entering into this room. They were happy to slide out of the way. This feels like a fever dream. Not one that I am particularly fond of, but one that I am forced to be living inside of. I know quite a great many things, but nothing at the same time that pertains particularly to my private life. I know that this place is vast, that there is a power structure that goes beyond our particular roles, that there are people that are important, as are in many great societies. I hazard to say great under these circumstances, but I understand. We walked into something that has left us a little confused. A little is an understatement. And we are trying to understand before we wind up in trouble that we are borrowing from someone else's story. So I was hoping that you might be able to enlighten us as to why we have these roles, what we're expected to perform, and how long? Forever? Are we forever the doctor, the courtesan, the priest? Are we stuck in these roles indefinitely, interminably so?
And for who? Or what?
Now, that's the simplest and most difficult question to answer. For whom? For the city. For Undercity. Undercity provides. Undercity enables us to continue. Can I explain what Undercity is? Alas, I cannot. Perhaps an entity is the best description I can give you. The literal bricks and mortar of the world that you stand in is Undercity itself.
Proposition. Okay,
Doctor, your assessment of your situation is quite apt. And unfortunately, not the first time I have heard it.
As we were explained.
I have been here a long time. Almost as long as the urchin. I think Undercity chose me for this role because of my longevity and my continuity. I can't tell you about how long you're here for. How long is not really a question in Undercity. Time doesn't work here in the way it does where you're from. I can tell you that your role, with a little r, your purpose for being here is to be part of the stories. I think Undercity feeds on the stories. It sustains itself from the tales. And you make up perhaps what you would describe as the main characters in these stories. I can tell you that as long as your stories are interesting, you will persist. Barring unfortunate physical damage, perhaps. You can die. There is a requirement for you to be careful.
Can you tell us why our previous selves all were not very interesting at the same time?
That I cannot in detail. I can surmise.
Please.
I think they were tired of their roles. And they weren't performing adequately for the city. So they were recast.
How do we know if we are falling out of favor of the city's purview?
The city will let you know.
Then why didn't we act before? Or were they just okay dying?
They had been in their role for some time. They, I believe, were becoming despondent.
Wanted out.
It is not uncommon for those in roles to seek an exit. I am not aware of one. If I knew one, I would tell you.
What happens if, for instance, if I were to kill the transporter, what would happen to the transporter? Would he be dead?
Yes.
Forever?
Perhaps.
Would I be dead, or would the transporter be dead?
Yes, that is... You, as an individual, would die. The role of the transporter would come to an end.
Be recast.
But it may be recast. And a new transporter may appear. Or, perhaps, and this does sometimes happen, where somebody dies only to come back a couple of weeks later, having seemingly evaded death at the last possible moment. But they've been recast in the meantime. It depends on what is expedient to the story.
How long does recasting usually take?
This is not a science, my boy.
In that same vein, have our roles, been gone for any amount of time?
No. Turnaround time for you was quick.
As everybody's been talking about this grim dark stuff, the courtesan is pressing on that same part of her chest, and it's almost as though she doesn't know she's doing it. She looks very concerned.
When are we from?
That's a time question, Doctor. Time questions are difficult for me to answer. Undercity touches all times. You could be from the same time, you could be from different times. You will see technologies here from throughout history. Some that you'll be familiar with, some that will look alien to you. Some that will look historic and archaic. Some of the people here too, their style of dress and their attitudes.
I've begun to notice that there are some visible differences, and it's not just a location thing. Why can't I remember anything before this?
You can, Doctor. If you think hard enough about it.
But that doesn't seem like it would be beneficial to the city's narrative for me to remember that.
Your role is the important thing to the city, and what happened beforehand is of little consequence to it. Most embrace their role or reject it. Those that reject it don't last long in the city. Those that embrace it find that the memories of their past existence fades over time or is traded away.
And what would you recommend of us now, in this time, in this space, in these bodies?
You will need to discover who you are.
I feel like that's pretty easy for everybody except me.
Perhaps.
I don't know. The doctor, the detective, the courtesan, the priest. These all sound fairly straightforward. Transporter? I don't know what. Transport what? Am I a delivery man?
Is he a mule?
My mule?
Unless this goes back to earlier times in history when they used to have efficacy issues in like transporter guilds and people who are specific for this, or this could be like, I don't know, USPS.
Saying that does the Porters Guild come to mind when I'm did I notice anything while I was walking through walking around the city?
The name of the Porters Guild comes to your mind as you're talking. But the concierge continues in answer to your question. In Undercity, there is a faction that is referred to as the Porters Guild. The Porters Guild are the official organization with whom people contract to move things from one location to another within the city. Transporting things can be complicated if one does not know what one is doing. You must have already realized that traveling through the city is problematic. Easy for some. Easy for you. Difficult for others. You have a talent that normally only the porters have. That allows you to operate outside of their structure, meaning that things that they will not carry and people that they will not do business with are your stock and trade.
Okay.
Smuggler? Perhaps.
Bagman.
Guide? Definitely. There will be people in the city you have helped.
Okay.
People in the city you have contracted with. Some of them may be allies. Some of them may be enemies. The porters will not be fond of you.
I have a feeling not all of them. Maybe some.
Perhaps.
Okay.
The Porters are a peculiar group.
So then you
Now,
recommend
Start us in a direction.
that
of-
we integrate.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a reason that we were all placed together, and it's more than happenstance. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not one to predominantly lean into fate. I think it can be rather hokey. There's not really a science behind it, but there is a reason that we were together, and it has something to do with our daily or regular lives. It's more than simply just waking up in a room together. We had affiliations. What did we... Are you aware of what we did together? Not what led to us waking up today like this, but do we have business that we operate in together?
And how long have the 5 of these roles been intertwined?
I do not believe that you are officially intertwined with one another. You have your own stories. But there are stories that include all of you, that have occurred in the past, where your stories have come close to one another.
Roughly how many?
Difficult to say. I am aware of many, several.
You say that we have to integrate. Okay. All of the sex jokes aside, I know that this has done things. I have those memories, but I don't think I've even kissed a boy yet. How?
My dear courtesan, I do not wish to be... How to answer this? I want to be sympathetic, but I find it difficult. I am removed from much of the problems that you are presented with. Your body knows. What I would say to you is that your role is not just a job. Your role is also an avatar. You are not the only courtesan in Undercity by a long stretch.
I guess that's comforting.
Your role is one of leader as well as participant. Others will come to you for assistance, perhaps as a mediator, perhaps as a negotiator. But there will be times when clients will come to you because you are renowned.
Great.
And while I wish to be sympathetic to your individual situation, the best advice I can give you is to integrate as best you can.
So were we just plucked from every which time, every which place, and we have no knowledge of the roles that we were taking on? Like, for instance, in whatever I was before, was I at least a practitioner? What was I, a nurse in training, an actual doctor, or am I just supposed to believe in this lingering knowledge?
I don't know the answer to that question, Doctor. I don't know who you were I don't know what your skill sets were. All I know is who you are now. Most that you meet in Undercity will not be able to comprehend the concept of your experience. They will know you as the Doctor and always have been the Doctor.
Do I have an office? Do I have a place of
Yes.
employment? I do. I do have a place.
Yes, of course.
Do I have a family?
You're the Doctor. No. None of you.
None
None
us.
of you are wed.
No children.
To my knowledge, none of you have children. It's not impossible, I suppose, but
What about the rest of us? Do we report to someone or somewhere, or do people just come to us?
people come to you. You are the linchpin. Let me take the Doctor as an example, as this may be more palatable to understand. The Doctor is the only Doctor in Undercity.
I knew it.
However, there are other practitioners. There are chemists, there are pharmacists, there are apothecaries,
But none of them are the Doctor.
wise women, all manner of people who make available services to the population in a medical capacity, but there is only one Doctor. Your role is that of leader as well. And while you will see patients, others in your field will come to you seeking advice and assistance. All of you have positions of respect. The population, the men and women of Undercity, will look up to you.
So it's more than just integration. It's a consistent play. We are forever cogwheels in a machine.
Yes.
But none of the others, these random people, they were born here. But not us.
Many of them were born here. Some of them fell through the cracks.
That's what the
In a
urchin said.
literal
Is this like when you lose your socks in the dryer and you will reach beyond the lint trap? Are we just sucked into the void? Like, what is? I don't understand.
Going down an alley at late at night and disappearing?
I don't fully understand the process myself, but I can tell you that from what I have seen, sometimes people get forgotten. Sometimes people lose their way. You must recall from your previous life tales of missing people.
Yeah.
Sure.
Many of them end up here.
I feel like we are now 5 missing people from the other world.
No,
No, because
I
these
don't
aren't our
believe-
bodies.
I don't believe that is true. You are in a new body. Your body's
So we were
Still-
5 killed people in the previous world.
I don't think that matters anymore.
If I were to speculate, because I do not know for certain, I would be unsurprised if the bodies that you left are no longer alive.
Oh. Well, that's brief
There is no going
solace.
back.
Because I thought
don't
for a
know that-
moment. I thought for a moment that the previous people that occupied these bodies were seemingly lucky enough to escape into whom we once were, but I guess it doesn't really matter much now, does it?
My understanding is that those that are recast are lost. I don't believe you have been switched. I think you've been moved into these bodies, and whoever was in them before have now gone.
If our stories are interesting, arguably too interesting, how reckless can we be?
Undercity has a way of maintaining the balance.
Course correction.
Did the former us go too far off the rails?
I
Was
would
the
say
killing
so.
of the king how they left? How they were recast?
I believe that was their attempt to escape.
Try to take the higher up and convince the city to release them.
I think they tried to make waves beyond the tale that was supposed to be taking place.
Too loud.
And the city decided that the best way to deal with the situation was to recast them.
And what do we do if we get lost? This place is huge. It's sprawling. I knew where the Taiping restaurant was, but I think I know where my office is, but I don't know much else. I'm prone to getting lost.
Yes. That will happen here. When you get lost, you will usually find your way home. Usually with very little memory of how you traversed your way to it. There are places in Undercity that are well known, and you will always be able to find your way to. This place, Typing House, is one such waypoint.
I'd assume the doctor's office would be another waypoint.
Those individual places that you know that are important to you, you will always be able to find. If you become aware of somewhere else that you need to go to, you must keep it in your mind. If you let it slip, you'll never be able to find it again.
What qualifies as home? You say we always seem to find our way back home.
To the place where you sleep.
If I set up a bed in another place, does that become home?
Was that the case before you arrived here? I'm not trying to be obtuse. Where you considered your home to be was your home. Yes, of course, you could lay down a sleeping bag out in the wilds and sleep there, but that is not your home.
No, but people move.
Yes. And when they move, they get a new home. It's not impossible that wherever your current home is could be different later. You can transition to different areas. It's where you personally consider to be home is where you will end up if you get lost.
Very well.
Because I feel like this has multiple places to stay, but 23 is home. At least for now.
23.
Yeah.
You should not have told me that.
Are you not help? Are you not
No,
an
he's
ally?
the doorman.
My dear transporter, I am a monster. When you sleep, bolt your door.
Trust no one.
Are you a monster like the urchin?
No.
Are there other monsters like you?
He sits back in his chair and he smiles at you. The first time that he's properly smiled, a big toothy grin, and his canines drop. His eyes gleam slightly red in the darkness.
Oh.
I shit my pants. Right there.
I instinctively just goes for just puts the hand on it.
He raises his hand.
That won't do anything.
His gnarled grey hand with long pointed black nails.
Oh, they're more
There is
like
no
you.
need for that here. You are perfectly safe. But bolt your door when you sleep.
Noted.
Understood.
If I may, concierge, I don't remember any religions that I followed before. What do I preach?
The city provides. There are no gods in Undercity. There is just Undercity.
You preach Undercity, got it.
There are many ways to interpret that, though, and you'll find all manner of individuals who believe lots of different things. Some who think that Undercity is a force for good, that has saved us all. Some who think Undercity is evil, that we have been imprisoned. Some who literally couldn't give a shit. But take advantage of those that do. The role of priest is a difficult one. But it is one that comes with a whole lot of respect from those that do believe. And your words will be taken and interpreted by others.
Is this my holy book?
This is your book.
Have you even
I'm not
opened it
sure
yet?
of anything that is holy.
I've tried to read it. Every time I try and read it, something happens and I don't get a chance. And he will actually just straight up open it
I was
up.
about to say you were saying you were wanting it to open it while you walked, but that didn't
Then
work.
fast travel happened.
You need to stop and take time. Doing things while you're moving will not work out well for any of you.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten that.
Be
As
deliberate.
as he's reading through it, something you'll all notice is like he starts off reading it slowly at like a normal pace, but then you see his eyes begin to just up, down, page, and he just starts flying through this book.
Excellent. This actually is Neverland. This is absolutely bizarre. I knew it. I knew it.
You're not a million miles off, my dear doctor. Neverland is a... It's not correct, but it's not incorrect.
Wait. So if vampires are here, are there other fairy tale creatures of the night here too?
There are all manner of creatures here, monsters here, I should say. You should be very careful. Some of them inhabit roles. Some of them do not.
But it's a mistake for a role to kill another role, right?
No.
No.
I think
Think of a story,
specific.
Doctor. Think of a story. A hero vanquishes a villain. The villain has a role of their own.
Right. But no good story has fresh named faces stepping in to immediately getting killed. This isn't a Tarantino experience. I know I'm name dropping some things that you're probably not going to understand. Or maybe you do understand. I don't
I
entirely know.
understand. I understand. I have been to the picture house. You are correct, but your face is not fresh, Doctor. Your face has been here for a goodly time.
Yes, and I accept that. But one would not simply undermine the city's structure, power, and control. It would be a mistake to hazard the idea that they would go through such great deals to integrate someone brand new, just to watch us fizzle out the moment that we were set ablaze. So while I am going to step carefully so, I have a feeling that all manner of monsters in the city still answer to some essential rules. To a degree, as is your role of concierge, I am the doctor, and I imagine that even you have seen me for some reason.
I have.
And that other manner of creature, monsters, or people alike have seen me for a variety of other reasons. And though you may be a monster, and you have declared that we should bolt our doors for now very obvious reasons, we're still important. Would you agree?
Yes.
So what you said, that we should bolt our doors, was not a threat as much as it was a recommendation, right?
Correct.
That makes things a little easier to swallow. No,
Yeah.
no pun intended.
What I would say to you, Doctor, and all of you, is attempting to second guess the will of Undercity is something many have tried with varying degrees of success. It changes its mind sometimes about how things should work.
Is there anyone who speaks for Undercity?
I am perhaps the closest.
Does Undercity speak to you? Can you? Is there?
I am aware
some
that I
kind of
need to be.
communication?
I am aware I need to be in specific locations, most notably this one, at specific times to receive new guests and do my best to answer their questions, to help them on board. Sometimes when I am asked a question that I do not know the answer to, I am gifted insight. I would not say I am its mouthpiece. I would not say that it talks through me.
You just happen to be on the same wavelength.
I believe I am an expedient tool for its use.
Or you may be the longest lived, has the most familiarity with you.
I believe the continuity and my longevity are the reasons that I have been selected.
Have you been here longer than the urchin?
Almost as long.
Is there anybody who's been here longer
Not to my knowledge.
than you or the urchin?
I believe we are the eldest.
Then as the most informed in this place, your recommendation was to be careful with the urchin. Knowing
Yes.
that we should be careful with the urchin, is there anyone that we should remove ourselves from?
Oh,
Care is different as opposed to separate.
I wouldn't tell you to remove yourself from the urchin. If your story is intertwined, you may need to engage his services. And he can be a good friend.
Feels like it's a matter of convenience.
If it's in his interests.
Then any other recommendations on those that we should be careful with?
You should be careful with everybody. Everybody has their own role and their own agenda. I can't think of anybody immediately off the top of my mind.
Hmm.
Everybody has dangers, but everyone could also be an ally. I would be wary of the elites. They don't think about things in the same way that the rest of us do.
The king, the prince, and the president.
And the heiress, there are a number of them.
Noted.
I would be wary of crossing the Porters Guild. The families, crime families of Undercity.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm assuming that you'll be here more frequently than not.
If I'm required, I will be here.
So this isn't a one-time deal.
No. But as time goes on and as my usefulness fades, I will be here less and less.
I understand the playing your role, assimilating. Is there a direction you could help me, or you could point me in to start? Or any of us?
Yes. I can point you all in a direction.
Great.
But
Excellent.
what I would say is, at least in your early days, it is safer for you to stay together where you can, while you find the lay of the land. But let me tell you individually. Doctor, I think your best bet would be to go to your office.
Understand.
I think you'll find a great deal of answers there. Perhaps not all, but it will at least start you off.
Okay.
Detective. I would be tempted to point you at the Jupiter rooms, but I think it may be quieter and safer to send you to the Antiquarian instead.
Where is that?
The Antiquarian can help you find a place to work from.
Okay. Where do I find the antiquarian?
In the streets, you'll find him.
Okay. I'll go looking for him when I have a chance.
My dear courtesan, I understand your reticence to investigate, but I think it's important for you. Perhaps the confidant? Or the gossip?
Okay.
Transporter.
Where?
Oh.
I apologize.
Follow-up question.
Where do I find these?
Ask around, you'll find them. Transporter. I happen to know that you had a contract recently with the sommelier. I would speak with him.
Understood. Thank you.
Priest. Perhaps more surprisingly for you than for others, I would suggest you speak with the gentleman.
Where would I find this gentleman?
I would say ask around, but that's not the best way to find him. The picture house.
Picture house.
The Premier Picture House is the best place to locate him.
Interesting.
Is it odd that I am the only one that was told to go to my job and everyone else was told to find someone?
I was told to go find someone to get a job.
Yeah, the antiquarian. Mine was go to work.
Do I have... Do I feel like I have a... Not so much an office, but more of a, like, drop location that people would try get a hold of me for, or a contact person that contacts that's people contact them and then they contact me type thing.
So I'm going to answer in character. There are many in the city that operate their own business locations, but there are some who work from here. What's the face for?
Well,
Okay. Okay.
okay.
In your case, much of your trade is plied from within Typing House. If people want to get hold of you, they'll usually leave a message here.
The
chef.
feeling that I talked to the chef.
The chef operates, there's a
Yeah.
number of individuals that operate from Typing House, and the chef operates a messaging service within. My dear courtesan, the chef will also operate a messaging service for you as well.
Thank you.
Do you have further questions?
You know, for as manic as I was feeling, I'm starting to think that I'm probably the fastest to fall into a step, which is why I wasn't recommended to find anyone. I feel like there's a lot more going on with the doctor than I'm immediately aware of, but...
Oh, you'll find people quickly enough, Doctor. Have no fear.
Yeah, that's actually why I'm afraid of it. But we'll figure it out. Well, guys, any other questions? Because, now that manic passion of mine is starting to subside, I'm feeling a little tired. I also just imbibed a bowl of noodles.
And noodles on point. Super good noodles.
Nice.
Was there meat with the noodles?
There was meat with the noodles.
Okay.
And it was really good.
Really good.
Concierge, where would I find my flock?
They're all around you.
Good to know.
There are no churches in Undercity. Much like the entertainers and the musicians that travel through the streets and the upper levels,
Oh,
priests
no.
travel the city, and sometimes they'll set up in a location and hold a service.
You're a busking, kooky street
I-
preacher.
I hate buskers.
I don't mind them. It's the preachy type of buskers that
That's the transporter site talking.
I struggle with. Well, I mean,
Oh God, is he an evangelist?
Don't worry. From what I've read of this book, don't worry.
don't worry, said every evangelist ever.
Right.
Let's just hope the collection plate is richer for you than the traditional busker.
Don't worry, said the priest.
It'll be fine.
All right, well, then
He pulls a sawed-off shotgun out from his back.
off to our room number 38.
Good try.
Pink 38.
I don't think he was born yesterday, everyone. Let's just leave.
Hey, is it true what they say? That, like, you have to be invited in? Or is that just all TV stuff? Excuse me, picture house stuff.
I know
Yeah,
what
what about
TV is.
garlic?
I've seen it in the picture house.
Oh, come on. Even the urchin was like, you're not going to invite me in. And I thought he was a vampire.
Oh no. No, he's far worse.
Worse!
Worse?
We're not inviting him in. He's never invited in.
Seconded.
But you didn't answer that question. If
No,
I
I
rescind
didn't,
the
did I?
invitation, you can't hang out, right? That's the law. Just like if you have to tell him if you're a cop, right? Like that's the law.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh,
I
doctor.
don't believe that.
Doctor, he said to bolt our door.
So we're gonna barricade our door, right? Let's just barricade the door. Thank you.
Okay, one last
concierge.
question before I step away.
Yeah.
You seem very confident and comfortable in your role. And your recommendation was to be careful. Tread carefully with the urchin. Who do you fear?
That's a very deep and difficult question to answer. I will give you a simple answer. Myself.
You know, on the weekends I used to teach willpower classes. We can work on that at no charge. So long as you know you practice it. I've thin veins. They roll. I'm not that interesting. I promise. Guys, let's leave.
I would be more than happy to have a one-to-one with you, Doctor.
In my office with many onlookers. I eat a lot of garlic. I had pizza earlier. There was a significant amount.
It's a different body.
Guys, I'm gone. I leave. Move.
Bye.
Move!
Bye.
Okay. We will draw a veil over the session there as you leave Taiping House for your place. And as a cat invades.
Well, perfect. That's good timing. That's a good closer. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out and watching tonight. It appears that this game will start a little sooner than regularly anticipated. I just spaced it, in the midst of everything that's kind of going on around us. I just sort of spaced it, and that's okay. If you didn't catch it, if you didn't catch the beginning, that's all right. We are going to have this VODed for, well, a variety of reasons. It seems like a lot of people might have some interest in this based upon what they know thus far, and the VOD will be there. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Stream will be cutting a little early tonight, and that's okay. That is a-okay. Just know that when these games get announced, and it looks like it'll be like every 2 weeks, so bi-weekly, we'll be having this, and you guys will get to see more of this. If you don't know, this is my Patreon squad. They're the toppest of tiers, the sultans of swing. They're the big ballers. They keep the lights on, or at least the few that help keep the lights on. There is one other group, but we haven't decided to pull the trigger and make it into a stream game because it doesn't really correlate with natural stream times. So If you liked it, let us know. Tell everybody in the Discord, or maybe consider supporting over on Patreon, patreon.com/BubTalks. Starting the next time we play, which is potentially supposed to be 2 weeks from now. If you guys saw directly to my my right, in this case, my camera's left-hand side, there are cards. As it stands right now, there's one called the Concierge. I will pull up the Urchin again for you. Bam. The Urchin. You guys will have an influence opportunity so that you can make characters come onto the screen. You can bring their stories, make them more paramount, and, well, let them swing opulently so in front of your face. If you happen to like one of them, we can make some things happen. It comes down to a D40 roll because there are 40 more specific roles to this story, and they range from everything that you can anticipate and even guess. There is the Turk, there is the sommelier, the journalist, the apothecary, the veteran, the raconteur, the enforcer. They go on and on and on, and each of them play a very particular and important role. We will do this just how we did in Harrowstone. It will come down to a monetary value. If you tip X amount of dollars, we can make things happen, and you will force their stories into the foray, and Hale will make that happen. He just wants to see this place succeed too, and it's a neat little trick to bring forward stories that we may not necessarily see all the time. So for now, you know all the details. I'll have some announcements for channel as well. I'll keep you guys posted. We'll get up a schedule, and you'll know more about it. These are the faces that you will always see in this game. Unless, for some reason, one of them decides that they hate this place, they hate this game, and they hate my face. This is going to be the constant crew. So, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in a little while for the next episode.